Well, this is a video that I did not want to make, but I absolutely had to make. You know that I'm basically waist deep into world affairs. I'm from Venezuela. I am pro-Trump. And, well, the leader of the Venezuelan opposition has just won, María Corina Machado, has just won the Nobel Peace Prize. So there was no way I could avoid addressing this. But my first reaction, to be honest, was a meme that I created using AI. I don't know if you have seen that meme of Jose Mourinho around. You know that if I speak, I'm in big trouble. I did my own version using AI.
If I speak, I'm in big trouble, and I don't want to be in big trouble.
So yeah, that's not me. That is a synthetic double. If you can tell the difference, yeah, it's not me really. But again, this was my first reaction. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. Every time I speak about Venezuelan politics from 2019 here, I have you already know the story. I have lost so many family and friends. And my last video about Venezuela was 7 months ago. I'm going to leave you with a link in the description of this video. It's less than 35 minutes, but it's the complete explanation to Venezuela's opposition, including, but not limited to, María Corina Machado herself. So I just made sure to review that video, and I still agree with all my points, all the points that I made in there. So I'm going to leave with the link there, and we'll give you a summary in this video. So maybe if you don't like watching it, you will still have the pretty much the story. Now, I could say the thing that is going to make me lose even more family and friends is that, okay, maybe my take is that Trump deserved the Nobel Peace Prize over María Corina Machado, and I am Venezuelan. But that is not the point, because there are things, let's say, an order to this, because the way that you receive the Nobel Peace Prize is that you are nominated for or before the January 31st of that same year. So if you are receiving the Nobel Peace Prize, like María Corina right now, is because she was nominated up until January 31st, 2025. All right, so there was no way that Trump could have earned this prize, or received this prize right now. And so many people are saying that he must get it next year. Spoiler alert, he won't. So save this video because he won either way. Thanks to Georgia Giant. So the fact that Trump didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize for ending the war makes sense when you find out why. Nominating deadline is January 31, but the 31st. But this also makes Obama's prize more asinine, tokenistic, bull BS than it ever was in the first place, because he was in office 11 days. Just 11 days. What can you do in 11 days? Just for the record, Trump has facilitated the peace between Israel and Hamas, Azerbaijan and Armenia, Cambodia and Thailand, India and Pakistan, Egypt, Ethiopia, Serbia, Kosovo, Rwanda, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So there's quite a track record. Let's see what happens next year. But the good thing is that María Corina Machado has basically dedicated not only the award to all the Venezuelans struggling inside and outside the country. Thank you, María Corina. And also to Donald Trump himself. So that is something, I guess. That is a lot, in fact. That is knowing María Corina Machado and her track record, thanking Donald Trump because let's say we count on President Trump, the people of the United States and the democratic nations of the world as of principal allies to achieve freedom and democracy. So she's saying the name, all right? She is saying the name, Trump. So that is a lot. Not gonna lie, that is a whole lot. But again, there are people criticizing Trump about this, even if we already know that he couldn't have won or earned the Nobel Peace Prize right now. Trump loses Nobel Peace Prize he shamelessly campaigned for, says Time magazine. How do you shamelessly campaign for a Nobel Peace Prize if not looking for, peace and having the track record and knowing that he couldn't have this is not like you lose because this is not a race. But again, this is the problem with this stuff, this kind of stuff. This is propaganda because we know that Trump couldn't win right now. We wish he could win. I think, again, I made the meme. I think that he deserves it way more than Maria Corina Machado. If you want to understand, I'm gonna give you a brief explanation. If you want to understand, you have to watch this video right here. I also have a video on how stealing elections work in Venezuela, which is this one, how to steal an election, Venezuelan style. You can find it here on my Battle Language Guy channel. I'm going to leave you the link in the description of this video to both videos. But what is the problem with Maria Corina? Let's say, I'm going to say there's something good about this. Say something good, but before I want you to watch this clip in which, when asked why didn't President Trump win the Nobel Peace Prize, we already know why, Nobel Committee chair essentially says, we only give the award to people of courage and integrity. So he could have answered, when he got the question, he could have answered, it's like, okay, the deadline was up until January 31st, and he was not nominated at that point. He could have said that. Okay, but instead, this is what he answered. Listen to this.
In the long history of the Nobel Peace Prize, I think this committee have seen any type of campaign, media attention. We receive thousands and thousands of letters every year of people wanting to say what for them leads to peace. This committee sits in a room filled with the portraits of all laureates, and that room is filled with both courage and integrity. So we base only our decision on the work and the will of Alfred Nobel.
So again, they're saying that the ones who have won this award have courage and what? Integrity, right? Both courage and integrity. It is a veiled way of saying that, no, Donald Trump doesn't have courage or integrity. He could have just said he was not nominated. It's that easy. It would have been so easy, but that was their answer. Now, some takes, Cernovich, this is where, maybe the silver lining starts. Some random lady from Venezuela, Cernovich, she's not some random lady. Maybe I'm not the biggest Maria Corina Machado fan, but if you don't know who she is, you have been living under a rock. Some random lady is... I don't think that she deserves to be called that. So let's get that. Let's get that straight. Some random lady from Venezuela won the Nobel Peace Prize. The globalists have made her a star. Well, okay. This is the single strongest indicator that the U.S. is going to do regime change in Venezuela. All right. Well, that could add up. That could add up in so many ways. And in fact, Donald J. Trump already reposted Maria Corina Machado's acknowledgement that he is fundamental for freedom and democracy in Venezuela. Venezuela will be free. Yes, that's what I want. I want to be wrong about Maria Corina Machado. Sadly, I know of all the ways that I'm not wrong. I know how I am not wrong, but I want to be kind of wrong about this because that would benefit me. I'm not gonna lie. You know that I was self-exiled for so many years. I simply cannot enter the country. This would be awesome in so many ways. And yeah, that's what I tweeted. I'm changing my mind about this. It looks like Machado is being propped up for an upcoming regime change. One thing is for certain, any regime change in Venezuela is going to be far from peaceful, and I'm okay with that. That is the problem, and that is the problem that I have with what Maria Corina Machado has said in the past. Now, this is my real address about this. Does Maria Corina Machado deserve the Nobel Peace Prize? Maybe I said that no a few minutes ago, but no, I have to say yes. because I think that there's nobody more peaceful than her, and I have to say that in a respect, in a in not a positive way. Why? Because that's what I said at length in that video that I recommend you to watch. Is that she says on one hand that Venezuela is basically controlled. It has been hijacked. Is controlled by this narco tyranny. This is literally a narco tyranny, a tyranny based on drug cartels, who controls the military. Everybody knows that the military is heavily controlled by, and it has been infiltrated by Cuban, Russian, Iranian, and who knows, Lord knows which other foreign forces, has been since the days of Hugo Chavez, since, I don't know, 2002 has been transformed to make sure that the the military doesn't rise against the government. She was one of the Congress ladies who were pushing for disarm Venezuelans back in 2012. That disarm law was signed by 100% of Congress. And thank you very much. We don't have weapons to defend ourselves. Thank you. And also, if you know that Maduro and company are literally controlling Venezuela, and they are this hub, which is like 5 hours away from the United States, and they have these drug cartels, and they are a home, a safe haven for Hezbollah, Hamas, every other terrorist, Al-Qaeda, every single terrorist cell in the world has home in Venezuela. That is a thing. And the government is okay with that. And also the Tren de Aragua, all the drug cartels, the Cartel de los Soles, everything. How do you expect and repeat and say over and over again that she literally doesn't want any sort of violence or conflict? She wants a peaceful transition. She says that over and over again. Not gonna lie, she has been consistent with that throughout the years. She says over and over again, she has been saying for more than a decade that the Maduro regime is in his death throes, that is, has its final hours. She has been tweeting that it had like 5 or 6 times in the last 10 years. Of course, that never had happening. I acknowledge that she did a great job on July 2024 using the Maduro's tools of stealing elections against him. I still have that thread on my X account. I tip my hat to her plan, flawless. But that's something that everybody knows. Everybody knows that Maduro is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. Maduro knows it. María Corina knows it. Edmundo González, the real president of Venezuela, knows it. Trump knows it. Every single one in the world, every person in the world with a half a brain knows that Maduro is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. And still, they have the weapons, they have the terrorists, they have the drug cartels, and María Corina insists that she doesn't want boots off the ground. And that's what she said on that interview with Donald Trump Jr. 7 months ago. That's what I had to record that 30-minute rant that I'm inviting you to watch. That was my biggest complaint. And along with so many other things that I disagreed with, and so many red flags that simply don't match what she aspires to. She aspires for regime change in Venezuela, but that simply cannot be in a peaceful and orderly manner, unless you treat Maduro like Hamas. You threaten to glass them. That is the only way that you can do a peaceful thing. And I think that Trump right now, blowing up all those drug boats coming out from Venezuela, he's trying to make a statement. Hey, you know what's going to happen to next? You know what is escalation of this? We're going to just literally squash you like a bug, to Maduro. So maybe you want to negotiate your stuff out of this. At the same time, That would be amazing if they can negotiate people who are entrenched, not only with the drug cartels, but also all these terrorist cells. I don't know how could that work, but that I think that everything is possible. But I don't think there could be a peaceful transition in Venezuela, and that's what I have to say about these matters. Again, I'm going to just focus on sending you. I'm gonna recommend you should see seeing the video being recommended right here next to me right now to watch that video and understand what is essentially my opinion about Venezuela's oppositions and my opinion on María Corina Machado. I would like to know what I think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Bottled Language Guy. Much love and bliss.